Has it ever occurred to you that this little bunny is like stalking us?
Yes, but you can't
Killer
see.
bunny.
There's a dragon and a guy with a snake too. It's just the bunny's the only one that you can see.
Yeah, but my big broad shoulders, block everything else, and then there's the bunny peeking over like, I will kill you.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to Around Our World in 80. Say yay!
Mermaid vibes.
Yes, because this week we did Finding Nemo.
Finn, Noggin, dude.
We also did Finding Dory because why not? History of Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is a 2003 American computer animated adventure film produced by Pixar Animation Studios and released by Walt Disney Pictures. It was released on May 30th, 2003. It won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. It was nominated for 3 more categories,
No, it's okay, Mom. Keep going.
including Best Original Screenplay. Finding Nemo became the highest grossing animated film at the time and was the second highest grossing film of 2003, earning a total of $871 million. What are you looking at? Anyways, I thought this was really interesting, and this is something I remember actually hearing when the movie came out. The inspiration for Nemo sprang from multiple experiences going back to director Andrew Stanton's childhood, when he loved going to the dentist to see the fish tank, assuming that the fish were from the ocean and wanted to go home. In 1992, shortly after his son was born, he and his family took a trip to Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, which was called Marine World at the time. There, after seeing the shark tube and various exhibits, he felt that the underwater world could be done beautifully in computer animation. Later, in 1997, he took his son for a walk in the park, but realized that he was overprotecting him and lost an opportunity to have a father-son experience that day. Critical response: Rotten Tomatoes reported a 99% approval rating. During its original theatrical run, Finding Nemo grossed $339 million and change in North America, $559 million and change in other countries, for a worldwide total of $940 million. It is currently the 43rd highest grossing film, the 9th highest grossing animated film, and the 2nd highest grossing film of 2003, behind The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. Worldwide, it was the highest grossing Pixar film up until 2010, when Toy Story 3 surpassed it.
Really? Mm-hmm. I would not have picked Toy Story 3 to be the one to take down Nemo.
There you go. The film is the best-selling DVD of all time, with over 40 million copies sold as of 2006. And it was the highest grossing G-rated film of all time before Pixar's own Toy Story 3. In 2008, the American Film Institute named it the 10th greatest animated film ever made as a part of their 10 top 10 list. And in a 2016 poll of international critics conducted by the BBC, Finding Nemo was voted one of the 100 greatest motion pictures since 2000. And its sequel, Finding Dory, was released June 17th, 2016.
So, there are 16 years between Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, but no one gave those films any crap, but Incredibles.
14 years!
14 years.
So what do you think of Finding Nemo?
Great story.
It's fantastic. We were basically quoting the entire film as we watched it together.
It might be a slight exaggeration.
I will also say this is probably the film that held Ray's attention the longest out of everything that we've watched. She was enamored with it. Yeah.
That was a big word.
Enamored.
Mm-hmm. Finding Dory is one of those few sequels that was just as good as the first one.
Yeah, I agree. Baby Dory is so cute.
That's just because she's 80% eyeballs.
I like sand.
So this week, for our activity, we went to the Dallas Aquarium. which I'd never been to before. I've been to aquariums before, which I always find them, they're good, but somewhat lackluster or, whatever. But
it's like, look at this tank. And
then look at this tank over here. And then
there's
the fish are always cool.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like you've seen one aquarium, you've seen them all. That was not the case with Dallas Aquarium.
And I had been there, but it's been probably a good 8 to 10 years since I've actually been back.
Yeah. So the Dallas Aquarium was really special in that everything about it was almost like Disney designed it. I mean, really, you walk in and you go under a bird sanctuary where all the birds are outside and chirping. So as you walk up to the entrance,
to get your ticket,
just to get to the building, you hear all the birds chirping and stuff in the middle of downtown. It kind of drown out all the other noise of the city, which was really cool. And then when you get to the entrance, it kind of snakes through this rainforesty area with a bunch of other exhibits with birds and fish and all kinds of stuff. And before you even get to the ticket counter, and as soon as you get to the ticket counter, you get your ticket, you walk right in, and you're poof into the exhibits. But the entrance where you go in kind of goes to like a gift shop area a little bit, but you actually go upstairs. So you enter on the second floor. And you go up to the third floor, and the aquarium kind of follows almost like a guided path all the way through all of the exhibits. And the first, 60% of it is all through this huge rainforest exhibit that they have set up, and all of the cages and stuff are integrated into the rainforest. So you can't. A lot of them you don't really know it's a cage or an exhibit, a tank or whatever. It's just there, and it's all this really beautiful stuff. And the thing I found most amazing, was that all of the plants and all the foliage was all real.
Yes.
They don't have any fake foliage anywhere. It was all real growing. So it was this huge, almost like an arboretum with animals in it.
Yeah.
And the animals were all pretty much out right in the middle of where you could see them.
They had a really good way with the exhibits where you know that the animals are contained, but it doesn't feel like they're contained. So you feel like you are seeing them in the wild.
It's a beautiful raccoon. Eat it.
It was just beautiful. And they've even updated a lot of the stuff since I've been there. So everything for me was new, everything for Jared was new, and it was just stunning. Stunning.
That's a good word for it.
And then as you exited the rainforest part, they had this brand new exhibit that I had never been to that's like the Mayan world. And so it's really interesting to see
Central America, really.
Yeah, it's really interesting for me to see how they took the set. In the rainforest, they had a certain type of rock and a certain type of bamboo and a certain type of foliage in there, and then you move to the other place, and all of that changed. So the type of rock that they used for the walls and the type of bamboo or sticks that they used for the fencing and stuff like that, it coincided with the area that the animals would have been from. And they had a touch screen so you could see all the different animals and learn about them and what was in what, tank.
And the other thing that was really cool is in the aquarium part. So a lot of places you go, they're like, oh, here's just a bunch of fish. And you have to read little plaques or whatever to find out where they are. And they mix a bunch of fish. But here each tank was a different location. So they had a Fiji tank, they had a Palau tank, they had Japan, they had
South Australia,
Southern Australia, the reef, Southern Australia. So all the tanks, whatever was in it, coincided with the coral and the fish and any crustaceans or anything. They were only from that area.
Yeah.
So immediately you knew what the area was, and then instead of it being on a little touchscreen or something, the area was in big imprinted letters in the concrete above each tank in the wall.
Yeah.
So, as soon as you hit that floor and you looked around, there was oh, there's the Australia tank, there's the Fiji tank, there's the Palau tank over there, there's Japan. And you could stand there and just look around and know where all you wanted to go look. And so there was no guessing of where the animals were from or anything. It was really well done.
Level of detail was like next level. We were talking on the way back. Even the smells, like that's something that I always notice, especially coming back from Disney, is in the lobby area or in the gift shops, anywhere that was not necessarily a part of the exhibit, but it was more
pedestrian area.
Yeah, more administrative type stuff. They had these like candle wax things going, candle warmers, where it was giving off a certain scent, and it was the same scent for all of those different areas. So there was some cohesiveness to it, which I was very impressed by.
And I was impressed that nowhere in the building, save one area, did it smell like a zoo or a place where there's a lot of animals. It was all fresh rainforesty type smell, with the exception of the Central America area, because there was a ton of flamingos in there.
They always smell.
And yeah, you could. It wasn't overpowering or bad, but it was the only place that I noticed an animal smell anywhere.
I will also say that I think this is the first time that we've done an activity where Reagan was legitimately interested. If it moved, she was really interested in it. If it didn't move, like the sloth, she could care less.
Yeah, she was, when I was pointing the three-toed sloth out to her, she actually was looking at it and stuff, because it did move a little bit, but she was like, ooh, what is that? Because it just looked like a big ball of fur.
Yeah, but because the fish are constantly moving, she was always really entertained and loved it. So what would you say was your favorite part of the aquarium?
I always like seeing something that's really weird or strange or really unique that I hadn't, had no previous knowledge of. The one fish that really stuck back in my mind was the little stick fish, the stick eels or whatever, that they would bury into the ground, and they can get up to, I think they said, like 15 inches long. But it's these little, and they're brightly colored eels. It was orange and white stripes, almost like a clownfish, but they dig into the sand, and then they just stick straight up out of the sand, and they just do this and bob up and down out of the sand.
男的比较是这种，女的应该是那种更稍微。
对。Oh, these things? Oh, I see them. Look at this snake.
So those were really kind of cool. I'd never seen a fish that digs into the sand quite like that. But then the other one that was really kind of cool was right when we very first got there. One of the first things we looked at had these really, really, really brightly colored little birds that were neon.
They looked like they were going to a rave.
They were neon incandescent. Okay, incandescent. They are shimmery neon blue with shimmery neon green patches around their eye with yellow stripes inside their wings that faded to a bright red.
Yeah.
And they were really pretty. Really yellow. Their eyes had that green around it. And then right across from that was these two massive toucans that were flying around playing on the vines.
My two favorite parts, my first one was definitely the shark tank, because they have the giant tunnel that you can go through, and you just see the sharks just like swimming all over.
Hi. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Jared, look at the shark behind you.
Right here.
I could probably sit there for a while and just watch the sharks.
It'd be fun to
And there's a manta ray.
go hang out down there and like work for a little while on a computer or something.
Yeah. And then my other favorite, which probably was my like highlight, was they had these like glow in the dark fish.
Oh yeah,
And they're like kind of tucked away in a corner because obviously if they're glow in the dark, you don't want a lot of light in there. So it's like the jellyfish and then these glow in the dark fish. And I think it was their eyes, but I couldn't tell if it was that or a spot on them.
No, it's actually. So I was reading the thing.
Yeah.
They actually, their eye is above the little patch, and then the little patch under it is actually a sac full of fluorescent bacteria.
It's so cool looking.
They look like they can blink, but it's actually a lid that they can put over it, and it's to communicate, hide from predators, and attract prey. So they can actually turn them on and off.
So cool.
Those little like starfish. I can't tell if it's just a spot on the side of them or if it's their actual eye. Really ominous.
And that was really cool.
They look really menacing, but they're also really cool at the same time.
Yeah, 'cause you can see, because the patches look like eyes.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing, is they can use them to try and scare predators away, because it looks like these really evil-looking
Menacing.
eyes almost.
Yeah.
And they're just a pair of eyes swimming around in the tank. But there was 50 or 60 of them.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
So I would say we had a lot of fun this week. This was a highlight of the Disney Bound Our Life activities. What do you think?
Reagan agrees.
You agree? Well, thank you guys so much for joining us this week. We hope you guys enjoyed all the sights and sounds of the Dallas World Aquarium. If you are in town and you want to check it out, highly recommend. As the kids say, 10 out of 10. And it was what, $20 a person to go?
Something like that.
So it's
it ended up being
relatively
$45.36.
You remember the exact price. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. Bye! Reagan, do you have your otter? Do you have your otter? Don't fall over. Look, it's your otter. Ah, kisses for otter.